Stop letting the fear of being seen or looking stupid stop you from getting to your goal or your dream. I'm gonna give you practical steps you can take from today to get over this fear because it does not have to own you. There is a version of you that we are unlocking today in this video that does not care about being seen, that does not care about what people think, but cares more about getting to your destiny and getting to your goals. Whether or not you're doing it on purpose, you are going to have cringe and uncomfortable moments. So you might as well do it on purpose. Have uncomfortable moments, have cringe moments. Let people see you when you're not at their destination. Because either way, people are going to find things in your life that they're going to be like, she look real stupid right now. So let that be along your path of success. Because I know you can think of one moment right now that is super cringe that happened in your past. So if you already have those moments, you already know that you were able to get over it. You were strong enough to rise above it. At the end of the day, you're going to have these moments whether or not you're going for your dreams. So you might as well be having these moments when you are going for what you actually want to do. Because either way, we are all going to have moments where people think that we look stupid. We're all going to have moments where people think that it's super cringe what we're doing. We're all going to have those moments because that's just part of life. But if you put yourself in a situation where you're willing to endure all those thoughts, all those feelings, it's going to have such a greater reward because you are living a life of purpose. I totally get it. It's a real thing, especially with social media today. We are literally able to see into other people's lives on demand. If you're posting something, you ultimately want people to see something that is good, something that you're proud of, something you're excited about. You want to show all the highlights of your life. But the reality is, whenever you want to do something more, whenever you want to do something big, start a business, get on YouTube, start a nonprofit, start an organization, something out of the ordinary, you have to be willing to feel seen even when it's very uncomfortable and people are not going to believe in you. People are going to think that, what the heck is she doing? This is so cringe. You have to be able and willing to get over that hump in order to do something different. Most people are doing the same things. Most people are showing the same things on social media, the same beautiful highlights of their life. But if you want to do something more, you got to be willing to do something different that is going to give you that icky cringe feeling. I know exactly that feeling. I go through it every single time I post, but because I know that I'm going somewhere, I do it anyway. Do you really think after everything that every single person has to deal with in their own life, they're sitting there meditating about how stupid you looked when they saw you on the social media post you posted? They're not thinking that. Maybe they think that in the moment they see it, and okay, who cares? Because they have no idea where you're going. But in your mind, because you are so in your thoughts, and we are all so in our thoughts sometimes, we somehow believe that people have that much time in the day to sit there and meditate and think over and over about how we look doing something that we desire. People don't care that much because even think about how you think about other people. You may see something and be like, wow, this person is doing this. Oh my gosh, that's so weird. And then guess what? You get over it. You don't keep going back to it and think about it because you're probably thinking about your own things, your own family, your own things that you want to deal with, right? You're not sitting there thinking about every single one of the people that you know that did this, that, or the third and, dwelling on it. And even if you are, what power do you have over them? Nothing. So what power do people have over you? People's emotions have no power over you. The only thing that has power over you is what you allow yourself to do and not do. The devil uses fear to stop us from helping ourselves, to stop us from wanting to pray, to stop us from wanting to go for what God has told us to go for, to stop us from being bold. That's the only way the devil can actually stop us. There is no physical thing the devil can do to stop my success because I am rooted in Christ. There's nothing the devil can do to stop me. There's nothing people's opinions can do to stop me from being successful. So yeah, it's cringe. Yeah, it feels weird. But the more you do it, the more you get over it. Trust me, I understand, especially with my journey of growing on social media, posting my opinions, helping people with what God has blessed me with. Absolutely. I feel so cringe when I post things that I'm like, this is so weird. Like, people don't talk about this, but I don't care because I know it's going to help somebody, right? But I once had to push through that feeling of feeling like this is going to be so cringe. And I'm going to share with you guys how I pushed through that. And I wanted to take the time to acknowledge that you are not weird for feeling like, I don't want to feel seen. It's not weird because it's a real thing, but you do not have to let it own you. Everyone that did great things looked stupid. Think about Jesus Christ. He was literally on the cross, okay? After telling everybody that he was the Son of God, doing mighty miracles, was preaching all these things, he literally got captured and got put on the cross for crucifixion. He was on the cross and everybody's looking at him like, oh, I thought you were the Son of God. If you're the Son of God, save yourself. And they're literally mocking him. Oh, Christ is King. Oh, look at you now, King of the Jews. All these things, right? They're making fun of him because they're like, oh, you literally spent all this time to tell us that you were this mighty God, and now look at you, right? And for those 3 days that he was dead, everybody was like, every single person that ever believed in him, y'all look stupid because look at him, he's gone now, right? It wasn't until he rose again, came back on the earth, that people were like, oh snap, this really happened. His own disciple was like, oh snap, you are really alive. So a lot of times when you are on your journey, people are gonna think that you look stupid, but you can't trust them to not think that because they have no idea where you're going. I remember one of my friends from high school, we used to literally sit at lunch together, and she was very, very focused on her social media career. This is back when social media was just starting. Instagram was like super brand new, right? Like Vine was still like ending, Instagram was starting like that time, right? And I think I was like, maybe I was in high school, probably like a freshman, sophomore or something like that. And this friend, she was very serious about posting on social media. She had photo shoots quite often, and I remember she would literally get detention for being late to school, and she would tell us at lunchtime, like, I don't care if I don't have my photo shoot done in the morning, I'm not leaving off to school. Her makeup would always be beat. Like, her makeup was always super nice, and her thing was always that I want to grow my social media career. And back then everybody was just like, social media is not a career. Like, nobody saw it like that, right? She was doing Instagram modeling and all these things, and we all thought it was like, wow. I mean, literally think about it. In those times it was like, why are you doing that? Don't you want to go to college? Don't you want to get a job? Like, what is going on? But she was willing to feel seen. She was willing to look stupid during that time in order to get to where she wanted to be, because she saw her destination. We didn't see it. What we were seeing was her being late to school, was her getting detention, and all these things. We were seeing her having a full face of makeup at school, which at that time, that was not a thing. We were having those really super red eyeshadows, super blue eyeshadows. Like, people were not beating their face, contouring and things like that when I was in high school, okay? She was very seated in high school. It was like, girl, you are trying so hard right now. But her thing, she wasn't trying for us. She wasn't trying to look good for school. She was trying for her career. And literally today, her name is Carla J. She is a huge Instagram model. She actually models for like different clothing companies. She has a big YouTube channel, all these things. And that was because she started with taking herself seriously. She was like, I know where I'm going. I don't care what people think. And her very own friends, because we were literally like, hey girl, you should probably study. You should probably like focus more on school. Even though we were well-meaning and we did it out of love, we didn't see where she was going. Now she's in a career that a lot of people that are in her age range want to get to. So my point here is that people didn't see her destination, but she saw it. People only saw what was happening while she was on the way to her destination. And because of that, they thought she looked stupid. So do not allow people's opinions or people's thoughts of you on your journey to judge where you're going, because they have no idea where you're going. They don't see your destiny. And quite frankly, even if they do, who cares? You see it and you know where you're going. So keep pushing for yourself. You live for yourself and for nobody else. So do not start living for other people by satisfying what you think they want for you without actually satisfying yourself. It is not worth it. And I love telling that story because literally it really inspires me. Like, I would literally remember thinking that, oh my gosh, this girl is like doing a lot, right? I remember thinking like, I hope she makes it because she's like putting a lot on the line. That's what it takes. You gotta put a lot on the line to get to where you wanna be. And as we know, there are countless of celebrities and entrepreneurs that failed thousands of times, that looked very stupid when they were working on their craft. And then after, when they finally made it, people came to ask them, well, how did you do it? How did you make it? Because people are only gonna want to know how you got somewhere when you get to the destination. Nobody is inspired by you during your journey. People are looking at you thinking, oh, well, that's kind of awkward. Oh, well, this is kind of cringe. Oh, well, this just kind of looks stupid. People are not trying to figure out where you're going. But as soon as you get there, people are like, oh my gosh, how did you do it? I want to do that same thing too, but I'm scared. I want you to even look at that phrase, look stupid. Look has nothing to do with actual reality. How something looks does not have anything to do with what it actually is. So literally, looking stupid is so not even real because it has nothing to do with whether or not you're actually stupid or whether or not you're actually feeling. It's just what it looks like. Something always looks like it's not going to make it before it actually does make it. Think about a caterpillar and before it turns into a butterfly. It literally doesn't look that pretty. So how something looks has nothing to do with what is actually happening. So who cares if you look stupid? You are not actually stupid. People's attention spans are not that long, especially in this day and age. So yeah, we have social media, but trends come and go like this. So if a trend of an entire celebrity comes and go like this, how much more will your trend come and go like this, right? So at the end of the day, people don't care about you, and also trends come and go. So what you do is going to come and go in somebody else's minds as well. And honestly, I want to take the time to also acknowledge that I get it. Like maybe family and friends that know you and are close to you are more likely to think a certain way about you and think more often about it. But I want you to think about it this way. Is my friends or family's opinions of my journey worth not getting to my destination? Absolutely not. Because any great person had friends and family. Every great person was judged by those friends and families, and every great person had to get through that. So you have to ask yourself, am I willing to do the hard things to get past this fear that I have around my friends and family thinking I'm doing something weird? Or would I rather just not get to my destination? Would you rather just sit with the regret of never have gone for your goals? Or would you rather have some couple times that were cringe in your past that you look back at? I'd rather look back. I don't know about you, but I want to look back. I don't want to sit there and regret not doing something because a friend or a family member thought I was weird about it. It's just not worth it. Something that really helps me is reminding myself that people do not pay my bills. Those people that you are worried about, those people that you think are judging you, are not paying your bills. They're not writing your destiny. We really have to take back our power and stop putting it in people's hands. Allow yourself the room to be able to take a step and it not go exactly how you want it. You are going to abolish fear whenever you realize that, hey, this may not work. This may not be perfect, but I'm going to learn a little bit more about it if I do it. I'm going to learn a little bit more about it if I just go through with it, right? Because fear is just the belief that something unpleasant or bad or unfavorable might happen. So just say, you know what? If it happens, I'll keep going. All of a sudden, fear is no longer a factor because it's just the belief that it might happen. But if you just allow yourself the grace for something unpleasant to happen, who cares? You'll get there eventually. Like I said earlier, most people that are successful went through a lot of unpleasantries, a lot of failures, a lot of times where it didn't work. And then it worked later because they were learning. It's just about how you see failure. I see failures as lessons. It's just an opportunity to learn what doesn't work, learn what you don't like, learn what is not working. But it doesn't mean if you keep going that it won't work. So drop fear by just accepting that things are not always going to work exactly how you think they are, but it's gonna get you one step closer to where you actually wanna be. Remember that people are just watching your destiny. They are not writing it. Nobody that watches your movie of your life is a stakeholder of writing what actually happens. You are the only one that can actually write what happens because you're the one living it. So allow yourself to live your life. They're not paying your bills. They're not writing your movie. Only you are. So focus on what you're going to do to get to where you want to be, regardless of what they think. There are movies that we like and movies that we don't like. But at the end of the day, the movies that we don't like have a whole crowd of people that like those movies. So get on your journey to find the people that like what you're doing, and you're going to be just fine. Something else that really helped me, shout out to the Holy Spirit, is feelings are not faith. Feelings are not faith. Feelings are not the truth. I may feel like I'm ugly today, but it is not the truth. I may feel like I'm far from God, but that will never be the truth because God is always with me. He will never forsake me. I may feel like my husband is a jerk and I don't want to be with him anymore, but that is not the truth. Shout out to my husband. He's the best man ever. There's always going to be feelings that make you believe in that moment that your whole entire life is over, that things have changed and things like that, but that is not the truth. truth. So you have to be willing to not always believe your feelings. Your feelings are not the truth all the time. Your feelings are not faith. Choose to live a life of faith. Choose to live a life that pleases God. So there are moments where I don't want to upload. There are moments where I don't want to talk to that person. But God has instructed me to. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it because my feelings are not faith. And this is one of the reasons why I absolutely am so grateful that I gave my life to Christ, because my life stopped being about me. I stopped doing things because I felt like it or because I wanted to in that moment. I now live my life for Christ. So even in those moments where I don't feel like it, I end up doing the best thing because I'm not listening to my feelings. This is why I encourage every single person to give their life to Christ and get to know the Creator, get to know God. He's going to show you the life that you ought to live. He's going to show you what to do and when to do it. He's literally going to guide you through this life. And there are going to be moments where you're not going to feel like it, but when you do it, you're going to be so happy you did, because feelings are not faith. What you feel is not always the truth. It's just in your mind. So get out of your mind and do what you said you would do. Do what feels uncomfortable, because that's what's going to get you a step closer to your goal. So you may feel awkward because you know somebody watched your story, or you may feel awkward because you know somebody watched your video, or you may feel awkward because you know that somebody knows that you went out in the community and you handed in this paper to start your business. Whatever the case may be, you just feel so awkward and so cringe and so seen, right? But that feeling is not faith. That feeling is not going to judge how the rest of your life will go. It will go away. Just think about it. Like there's so many times where you feel embarrassed and awkward, but the way that you feel embarrassed about whatever that thing is now is not how you felt in that moment, right? In that moment, it's like, this is so awkward. I hate this. But literally a week later, it's like, yeah, that was awkward. But you just feel so much relaxed about it, right? So anytime you feel awkward and you feel cringe that you're going to be seen, just know that in 5 days, you are not going to feel this awkward about it. So push through that first hour, push through that first couple of days, because it's going to be worth the reward that it's bringing you. So now let's talk about what are practical things you can do right now to overcome the fear of feeling seen. Number one is evaluate your conviction. What I mean by that is whatever it is that you want to do, whether if it's start a YouTube channel or start a business or apply for that job or start studying something new, whatever it is, right? How convicted are you about that thing? Because that is often the reason people don't go for their goals. They don't go for their goals because they're not convicted enough about if this is actually going to be good for them or if they should actually be doing this. So I want to ask you, that goal in your mind right now, how convinced are you about it? Are you convinced that you are supposed to be doing it? Are you convinced that it's actually going to bring you a reward? When you have a conviction, when you have a vision, it has become so molded inside of you. It has become so important to you that it's literally one with you. That if you do not do this thing, you are not going to be happy. You are not going to feel fulfilled. You are not going to feel like everything is right? So I want to ask you, how convicted are you about whatever it is that you want to do? Do you need to gain more conviction? A great way to gain conviction for me is I think about the consequence. If I don't do this, what is the opportunity cost? Right? Think about the people that are supposed to be blessed by whatever it is that you want to do. Think about whoever that you're supposed to help through the service that you want to provide, or the business that you want to start, or the ideas and the opinions that you want to get out there. Think about who it's actually going to help if you do it. Now think about, if you don't do this, how will it affect other people? How will you feel if you don't do it? Are you going to be okay with the regret that comes when you don't do it? Are you going to be okay with that? So you really have to think about, am I really convicted? Am I convinced that I should be doing this thing? Because if you are that convinced, you're going to be willing to push past some uncomfortable things in order to get there. So get more conviction, do more research, pray more about it. Ask the Lord to give you more conviction about whatever it is that you are wanting to do, that you have a fear of feeling seen with, because that conviction is going to drive you to get to where you want to be, because you're going to be like, you know what, this is uncomfortable, but I'm seeing where I'm going. I'm looking at the vision. I'm seeing the destination. And it's so great. It's so beautiful that it's so worth it for me to go through this fear of feeling seen right now because I know where I'm going. And if you don't have a conviction, think about your why. I have a video, I'll link it up above, and I have a whole exercise on how to get to the place where you know your why, because knowing your why is going to help you to keep pushing. It's going to help you to deepen your conviction about something. Okay, so you need to understand your why do I want to do this so bad? Because once you have a reason why, you have a deeper form of conviction, and that reason why helps you to not care whether or not you're seen, because there's a reason that you're doing this. You need to evaluate exactly what the source of this fear is. Is it a specific friend that you're like, okay, this person's gonna think that I look stupid? Is it a family member? Is it because you feel like people are gonna see you fail while you're on your journey? Is it because you don't want people to see the journey? What is it that you're so scared of feeling seen for? You have to evaluate and look at the source of what it is before you actually deal with it. There's so many uncomfortable things you can start doing right now to get to the point of having more confidence and just not caring that much about feeling seen. And I have a couple of those things for you. Something you can start doing right now is being open when you don't understand something. If you think about it, that's a way that people will see you failing because you don't understand something that maybe they understand. That's something that I started doing, and it's so freeing. It is so freeing to just be like, what is that? Can you explain? I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that person. What is that about? What does this mean, right? It is so freeing to just ask those questions, because once you do, maybe in that moment that person's gonna be like, dang, they don't know that thing. But the reality is that there's so many things that you know that the person has no idea about. A great way to stop caring whether or not you look stupid is to just be willing to ask people questions when you don't get something. Just admit that, I don't understand this. Do you mind explaining it to me? It's gonna feel awkward the first couple times, but I promise you, the more you do it, the more free you will feel, and the more confidence you will have in yourself, because you're willing to admit when you don't understand. I know you've been in a situation where somebody was talking to you about something and you feel like you should have known what they were talking about. You feel like you should have understood, so you just sat there and just nodded, yeah. And because of that, you had a fake conversation because you didn't admit that, hey, I have no idea what you're talking about right now, because you felt embarrassed that maybe you should know that. But you walked away not having an authentic conversation with that person because you pretended to know something, right? And in your heart, you probably felt bad about it because you're like, dang, like that sucked. Like I didn't feel authentic in that moment. I wasn't able to say, hey, I have no idea what you're talking about, right? But the more you're authentic, the more you're open about not understanding things, the more confidence you actually have in yourself, because you're able to trust yourself more. Confidence is literally trusting yourself. You trust yourself to be like, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. Do you mind explaining that to me? You trust yourself to be open when you're wrong. And what that allows is freedom. And it's a place where you don't care that much. So whenever you're working on your business, or you're working on your job applications, or whatever the case may be, or you're asking people questions, it's just so much easier to do it, because you're literally training that muscle of, this person is going to think that I'm dumb, but that's okay because I want to be authentic. The more you are authentic with yourself, the more you're able to be okay with the feeling of feeling seen. Trust me, this honestly changed my life. So I want to encourage you to start doing it with your friends, with your families. It's going to help you to build a confidence that you're going to be like, I'm really that woman. And whenever you're doing that, you're actually encouraging the people that you're talking to be more authentic to you about what they don't understand. And so you're both able to have an authentic, real conversation, because you're being real about where you are in your journey. And it's so beautiful and it's so freeing. Try it and let me know. Something else that is uncomfortable but really helps to get out of this fear of feeling seen is to walk up to strangers and talk to them. I know it sounds like, girl, I don't want to do that, but it is so helpful. I did this my senior year of high school. I made it a point to walk up to people and just talk to them whenever they were by themselves. And the reason why I actually did it was because we had a suicide in my high school, and I remember that story made me so sad, because the person, he just felt really lonely and felt like nobody cared about him, so he literally killed himself. So I made it a point my senior year to like just do what I can to help in my school at least. Just talk to people that were alone. I'm gonna walk up to you and say, I'm gonna say my name, and we're gonna have a conversation. Even if it's 5 minutes, I still felt like, hey, I'm gonna do this because it's just gonna be one way to let people know that, hey, you're not alone or whatever you're going through. I had no idea this would actually build my confidence. So literally, I would go up to somebody and be like, hi, what's your name? My name is Daniela. Like, and just start talking, right? And honestly, a lot of the times it was really awkward because a lot of people just don't want people to talk to them. And people are like, hey, what's your name? It's like, hi. So in that moment, you feel seen. You're like, oh, this is awkward. This is cringe. I feel embarrassed, right? And it really built me up to just keep going and just, find ways to compliment people, find ways to relate to other people and get them talking. So every time I walked to a new person, I had to find something about them to say, to talk about, to get them to open up and have a conversation. Even if the conversation was just 30 seconds because the person was just like, don't talk to me, I still build confidence because you have to be willing to fail, quote unquote. Rejection is a muscle that we have to be willing to exercise. If we never face rejection, we don't value acceptance as much as we should because we think that people are always going to say yes to us. But the reality is most people are going to say no to you, even if you have the best intentions. Walking up to strangers, whether you're at the grocery store, shopping, outside, in the parking lot, just do it one time and see how you feel and keep doing it. I want you to commit maybe 1 week. I'm going to walk up to people at least once a day, every single day this week, and I'm gonna do that to get myself to be more confident. But that's gonna help you with this fear of feeling seen. The only way to get out of fear is just doing the thing that you're scared about. Just do it. Because if you don't do it, you're always going to have this belief that something bad may happen, that you may be embarrassed. So the only way to get through fear is to push through it. So you can do micro things that are not necessarily your big thing yet, right? To get you to build up to that ultimate thing of starting your business or posting a YouTube video. It's gonna be awkward, but it's going to help you with being okay with feeling seen, being okay with things being awkward, being okay with silence, which is the next thing, is silence. Whenever you're having conversation with somebody, be okay with silence. Sit there in silence. If you guys are having dinner or lunch or you're on the phone, sit there in silence for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds. Shout out to my husband for this. He's someone that really taught me to just be okay with silence. That really helped me to be just more confident. So if I don't have anything to say, I'm gonna be quiet. Even if I'm hanging out with a friend and I feel like we should be talking, just be silent. Because when you're silent, it allows yourself to gather your thoughts. Maybe think about something you didn't think about before. Be okay with silence. This is also a great way to be okay with feeling seen, because whenever you're silent, if you are in your mind, you think that people are looking at you, people are looking at this, people are looking at that. And if they are, that's okay. So challenge yourself to have more silence. Be okay with being silent in conversations, being silent when you're talking to other people. It's gonna help you to build your confidence and be okay with being seen. Something else that will really help with this as well is filming yourself in public. You may not even want to be a YouTuber or a vlogger or whatever the case may be, but it's just the idea that people are gonna look at you and be like, that person's filming, and they're gonna stare at you, and it's gonna be awkward. And getting used to that feeling of people looking at you, whenever you have your camera up, you're talking to the camera, even if you're just doing those videos for yourself, that's gonna be another way to build up that muscle of people are looking at me, this is weird, but I'm gonna do it anyway, because again, who cares? So that is how you are going to unlock the version of you that has overcome the fear of feeling seen. You are going to start building that muscle. You're going to try different things, and you're going to go through with whatever you have in your mind. Trust God. Go for it and lean on the power of the Holy Spirit. And that's what I'm going to lead the video off with. You can't do this life by yourself. The Spirit of God is there to help you. He's there to guide you. He's there to literally show you how to overcome fears. And little did I know, a lot of the things I listed in this video I've done, but I didn't know that it was literally God preparing me to help me to do the things that I'm doing now. Let me know, which one are you going to be doing from today? Pick something that I just talked about to build up that muscle, and let's overcome this fear. We're not going to allow the devil to keep us in fear. We're not going to allow the devil to keep us where we're not supposed to be. We are headed towards where God has called us to be. So we're going to overcome these fears. I'm so excited for you, and I'm so excited to hear your thoughts. And let me know in the comments right now, Which one are you doing? What are you going to be doing this week to exercise that muscle so that you are okay with feeling seen? Because who cares? We got places to go. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoy it, consider sticking around because I have back-to-back videos on becoming that woman and tips and tricks on what you can do to be more confident and really live out your dreams. Remember, you are successful, yes, even right now. Mwah.